Good evening everyone and welcome to another video of commentary. Today is for APP Tier 1 and it's at a very wet and sodden Mexico. We've got a mix of tyres out there with the fastest laps being set on the intermediate tyres. Red Flame Joe leading at the minute with a 1:27.865. 2 thousandths behind him on the same compound tyre, the intermediates, is Wisburn there, and slightly behind him is Lifebout, who is a little bit of a quali merchant, I have been told, of 128.2, and then Ghost, who has just switched on to the intermediate tyre after setting a 128.342 on the wet compound. Red Flame Joe, however, has just absolutely smashed his previous time by over a second. 1:26.5 is now the time to catch, folks. Continuing on, Jackalacco in the AlphaTauri there, who we are going to go on board with. I believe this is just an outlap, or it's just done a lap, so yes, he has just done a lap. Would make sense considering how little battery he has left. That is a 1:28.5. So we're just going to take a little look at these standards now. Bear with me whilst I do get them up. I believe it has changed a little bit since I've last commentated on this league. Not been able to make the last two Fridays, I'm afraid. So let's just have a little look at the standards. That is when my Wi-Fi decides to load. Limited by the technology yet again. It is a very, very warm day today here in the UK, as I believe where most of our drivers are from. So I do hope you're keeping hydrated. Just a friendly reminder there, health and safety. Okay, so I can see the standards now, and it is Ghost leading the way on 130 points. Lifebout, who has just gone quickest overall with a 1:25.786. He is only 10 points shy of Ghost, 120 points there for the Haas. Banter Brandon quite a way down below, 46 points behind Lifebout. He has 74. He's actually equal with Lawrence, who is on 74, and just behind them is Jackalacco on 73 points. So the battle for first is on, and the battle for third is on. I'm not too sure how many rounds are left after this. I think it's one round. I do believe this is round 8 of 9. So every single position and point does actually count massively from here on out, truth be told. So Ghost all the way down in 9th at the minute, but this is his first lap on the intermediate tyres, and we are going to hop on board with him as it looks incredibly wet out there. If I didn't know any better, I would say it pretty much looks like full wet conditions. There's a lot of standing water. There's a slight line where it's not as treacherous, but it still looks extremely greasy. It's going to make the rear of the cars extra lively. It's all about who can work with that the most, who can cope with a little bit of sliding just to get an extra tenth or two and carry the momentum forward without having to sacrifice too much minimum speed in the apex. This does look all neat and tidy for Ghost, but I don't think it's going to be good enough for pole. I think he's going to slot in about third here. Second is where he slots in, quite some way behind Lifebout. That's 4 tenths, just under 4 tenths, I believe. Yeah, just under 4 tenths. So I think he'll have a recharge lap and go again. He does have time for a recharge lap. Lifebout coming into the pits now. I wonder if he'll strap on a brand new set of shoes. I don't think he'll have time to get them on, even if they were Velcro Brantanas, let alone fresh set of intermediates. So we'll see. So maybe advantage Ghost here if the track does ramp up. A Red Flame Joe goes even quicker than Lifeabout by a whole 3.5, almost 4 tenths. 1:25.4. So the lap times are falling, and if Ghost can make sure his tyres are kept in the optimum temperature range, and he can get his battery recharge, which looks like he's doing pretty well, I think it's advantage Ghost here in terms of the championship between himself and Lifeabout. He's got a nice helmet on him there, the purple and the orange. Good lid on there, Ghost, not bad, mate. I'm not quite sure there's anybody else on a hot lap, or Steve Jobs? Steve Jobs may be on a hot lap. No wait, that's him crawling. It was the other Mercedes, I think, that was on a hot lap there. But what we are going to do is hop on board with Ghost, who I think he really is just trying to get every last percentage of his battery recovered. As if I'm not mistaken, that is 83% there in his dash, but he's put the hammer down now, so this is make or break for Ghost. At the minute, starting on third, second row, just behind Red Flame Joe and his title rival, Lifeabout. So this has to be the lap for Ghost now. Coming down to turn 1, brakes just before the 50 board, and gets a little wiggle on the exit. Didn't make the apex anyhow. So it would not surprise me if he's quite a few tenths down now, after having a wiggle on the exit there of 3 also. We'll see what his sector 1 split is. It's plus 1.3 seconds, and I do believe that is game, set, end match to Red Flame Joe. I don't think... Oh no, Lifeabout will make it over the line in time. He will, by a mere 9 seconds. So Lifeabout does have the advantage, but he will look to increase his advantage, however, as Lawrence retires from qualifying. I'm not sure whether that was an incident there or not. Lifeabout just grabbing a front right, it seems, and locking up there down to 1, but looks much neater and tidier than his title rival Ghost. Ghost was very much on the edge through those 3 corners. Lifeabout, however, he is 4 tenths up on his previous time. He has Mercedes right in front of him, however. Is that Darth? It is. Darth is a tenth up, so he won't want to let off and let Lifeabout through. So Dirty Air is going to compromise Lifeabout. You can see the car just not being stable there through those medium speed corners. And even through there, the front is just swashing out, or either stepping in too far, allowing the rear to come through, and it's now only 6,700 up. The Dirty Air's really affecting there as he almost loses the car. Has to give it a load of opposite lock just to correct it and make sure he doesn't end up in the barriers, but he almost ends up in the barrier again there. This is really unfortunate timing. It's, you know, Darth Nehulus, I can't pronounce your name, I do apologise, was under no obligation to move there as he was on a hot lap, and as we see, did improve. So I believe that is just a case of unfortunate timing for Lifeabout. Would have loved the toe down into turn 1, but it was, you have to say he was looking good there, 4 tenths up after the first sector. I believe he would have been on pole if it was not for the Mercedes of Darth there. Ghost breathing a sigh of relief, I think, that the Mercedes was where it was at that time. Keeping hydrated, very important today. So qualifying comes to an end, and it's Red Flame Joe in the Williams with the advantage. 3 tenths clear of Wisburn in the Alpine, popping up there in P2, as Lifeabout and Ghost, our title protagonists, our championship protagonists, occupying the second row, 3rd and 4th there. The Red Bull of Kian Antit in 5th. Joining him on the 3rd row is Ryan Riandy Pivine, Darth, Forrest Jump, Jackalacko and Steve Jobs making up the rest of the top 10. Question is, how is the weather going to be for the race? Are we going to have more rain, making it very tricky track indeed. Obviously the rain does complicate things whatever track you're on, but there's some tracks where the traction is just so low, it just makes it increasingly impossible. Mexico being one of them, but it's blue skies, guys. It's blue skies, so we have a clear race. Just a little update on the constructors table. Ferrari are leading the way from Haas by 36 points. So, barring an absolute disaster, although it is only Ghost representing Ferrari today. And is there 2 Haases? No, there's only 1 Haas, and that is, funny enough, his championship rival Lifeboat. So 36 points between them. Still, you would say ought to play for. Ghost can just get a stronger result here. Obviously not only for his own individual title push, but for the constructors as well. That will put him in a good position going into the final round next week. Quite a way down on 134 points is AlphaTauri. 120 points comes Williams in 4th, and Alpine on 117 making up the top 5. You have Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren rounding off the table. So, strategy today, usually a one-stop around Mexico. I'll be surprised to see too many starters on the mediums. I haven't even looked at the tyres yet. But there we go. Only 3 cars opting to take the mediums as the starting tyre. Most of the field on hard compound tyres there, as is the heat and degradation in Mexico. You would expect with full tanks the hards to be the better tyre, obviously degrading less. The mediums will then degrade even less when they are put onto towards the end of the race. As that's a spinner, it is Wisburn right in the middle of the track, as good job Ghosting is on. Would have collected about 2 or 3 cars there otherwise. Okay, so what we're going to do is jump on board with the Red Bull of Kiernan Teat for start this race. He is on the medium compound tyres. Ahead of him, Ghost and Lifeboat on the hard compounds. So it's Red Flame Joe to Wisburn to Lifeboat to Ghost to Kiernan Teat, who, like I said, we are going to jump on board with for the start of this down. It's turn 1 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and they're out. It's a good initial start there from the Haas of Lifeboat, but Ghost got a decent second stage. But look at that, that is the Williams of Riandy on the medium compound tyres, getting past both Ghost and Lifeboat, who were side by side for a second. Ghost has managed to get the advantage. He goes around the outside of the Williams, which then becomes the inside. Almost contact, however, between Lifeboat and Ghost coming into turn 3 there. But the order has changed around quite a lot. It's Wisburn now leading from Red Flame Joe to Riandy in 3rd, making up 3 positions. Ghost does hold his 4th position. The key thing for him is the Lifeboat dropping 2 positions down into 5th, just behind him in the Haas there. So Ferrari constructors leading their customer Haas in the opening stages of lap 1. The Red Bull pairing almost coming together there, occupying 6th and 7th. Boys, you want to be careful, you're on the same team at the end of the day. But there looks to be absolutely no team orders here as Kieran Teat absolutely sends one around the outside, going off track a few times there to try and get past his teammate, who, however, does hold it around the inside. But we've got a safety car or a virtual safety car. Virtual safety car, I believe, as Steve Jobs obviously has a few too many iPhones to create, as checked out this one early. See you later, Steve. So it is a virtual safety car, just neutralising the race for a second. No winners or losers with a virtual safety car really at this point in the race. It just delays us getting on with things. Could use the help of a replay. We certainly would have a look at the start from Riandy there and go on board with him. Up 3 positions, absolutely raced by Ghost and Lifeabout there, up into 3rd position at the start. I believe that is Jackalacko already boxing, and he's got a fresh set of medium shoes on him as Darth picks up a penalty, speeding under the virtual safety car. If there is a full safety car, that will bring him back into the contention, but at the minute that's him done and dusted in the race. Lifeabout really closing up to Ghost now as DRS has been enabled. I'm not sure if it will be open this lap. No, it won't. Otherwise Lifeabout would be getting that real wang open down this very, very long straight. I do believe it's the longest straight in Formula 1 on the calendar. So getting the DRS here is super important, as the Red Bulls are once again having a little scrappy, and once again Kieran goes around the outside, and this time manages to get the inside for the following corner and past his teammate Lawrence. Lawrence, however, I'm sure won't give this up easy, but has a little wobble as the car complains under load. That gives the position to Kieran Teat. Lifeabout just starting to get a little bit detached there from Ghost, who is starting to make some inroads into Riandy. Now the hard compound tyres have come up his temperature a little bit. But I think that is only because he's getting held up by Red Flame Joe himself a little bit, who does miss the apex there. That's going to invite Riandy. Look at that, cuts the difference between the two by 3 tenths there. You've got a feeling Red Flame Joe is going to be vulnerable now going into turn 1 as Wisburn checks out and collects the fastest lap as he does so. Riandy, wing wide open, says, "Thank you very much, teammate. That position is mine now," and he's up 4 positions now into P2 as Ghost stays ahead of Lifeabout, and we'll have Red Flame Joe in his sights as Kieran Teat gets the first penalty of the race, 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit violations. And I think had a little moment there maybe, because he's dropped all the way down to 9th. That's 4 positions as a net loss. Talking of net loss in games, Rick up 8 positions and Lawrence up 5. These two having a stonker in the opening stages of this Grand Prix. Lifeabout really starts to close up to Ghost now, but he has to go off the track there. I'm assuming to avoid a spin and an overcorrection on the car, as we have a yellow flag. That's the McLaren and the Aston Martin of Forrest Hump Jump, an LB Racing 33. As Lawrence loses position to Rick, that makes it 9 positions gained for Rick now. What a great race he's having so far. What a time to be alive, witnessing absolute moves from Rick, even though we've not actually witnessed any. I've just seen his positions go up and up and up and up. As Riandy really is on a charge now. He sets the fastest lap for 119.6. Ghost and Lifeboat as you were, but Lifeboat is getting even closer. But Red Flame Joe and the Williams there, we just saw it top of our screens quickly from that long shot. Had a little wobble. That's going to invite Ghost to get a little bit further. As there is yellow flag sector 1. Who is that? It's Kieran Teat, who has been a little bit of an angry bull so far in this race. The rear tyres obviously just getting a little bit too angry there. He's dropped down to P9, and I think we saw he had a broken wing as well. So that's unfortunate for him, and I think that is him DNFing. I hope that wasn't on purpose on track. That's very naughty of so, as it could trigger safety car. Nope, no safety car triggered as of yet. So Riandy is starting to eat into the lead of Wisburn now, like a hungry predator munching on his prey, stalking even, like a Komodo dragon, biting his prey and just gradually reeling him in, not getting too close too quick. Talking of getting too close too quick, Red Flame Joe really closing in on his teammate there. Have we seen the hard tyres now come up to temperature and start to give those medium runners who had a fantastic start a little run for their money, as LB Racing picks up a 3-second time penalty. I would call this the sparring stage of the Grand Prix. I think it will get a little bit more feisty as it goes on, but we've got 4 cars within close proximity of each other, giving the DRS to 3 of them. The Williams there of Red Flame Joe, the Ferrari of Ghost, and the Haas of Lifeboat. So they're just sussing each other out at the minute, I believe, trying to conserve their tyres a little bit, maybe conserve their battery. One man who isn't, however, is Riandy, who has eaten another 2 tenths out of Wisburn's lead. But I think Wisburn either uses battery or just has superior straight line speed, as makes up a lot of time, gets a lot of time back even on the straight. And I think that was Red Flame Joe there going a little bit wide again. He did that a few laps previous, getting a little bit wide and screwed, and out of 1 into 2. Williams not settling the car very well in sector 1. It seems as, I'm not sure whether that was just a bit of lag, but it seemed like he overcooked it a little bit at the end of the DRS zone there, going into 4 and 5. Of course, does compromise you then for 6 and 7. And Truth has actually dropped out of DRS range now, looking extremely jittery and just not in the zone at all. It looks like he's really struggling to get any sort of rhythm. 2 drivers who have got rhythm, however, I say that. Ghost has a little wobble again in between the left and right hander there. Is Lifeboat, who I think now using his DRS just a little bit there, and will get his DRS wide open. Senses a chance to get Ghost down as turn 1. He's gaining. I think he's going to be close enough for a move here. Will he go for it? We're on board with him. No, he just opts to sit behind. I think he was definitely close enough for a move there, but goes extra wide on the entry into 2, really setting them up for 3, down into 4 with the aid of DRS. But I think his chance was on the first DRS zone there. I'm not sure why he didn't go for a move. He was definitely close enough. As Lawrence is out of the session. That's both Red Bulls out of the session. Ghost now seems to have found his feet again. Just pulled a few temps through Lifeboat sector 2 there. Of course, the dirty air could have something to do with that as well. As Red Flame Joe, who was this time 1 lap ago, was 1.2 seconds behind his teammate. I think it could be a few mistakes from Riandy though, as he is back up to 1.9 seconds behind Wisburn. Red Flame Joe, however, back in DRS range, and he will get it open down the long straight. Ghost and Lifeabout, not much doing at the minute. It is pretty much still a bit of a DRS train going on here between the top four. Just wondering if Ghost or Lifeabout was saving their. I think that was definitely some lag going on from Red Flame Joe there. We saw the car just jitter about. That does have to be off-putting for Ghost. Sure, Lifeabout will be hoping so anyway. Okay, so Lifeabout a little bit closer on this lap. Again, seems quite reluctant to use his battery pack, that extra power. Letting Ghost use his maybe. Just picking his time to attack, waiting for another little mistake. There has been one or two very small mistakes from Ghost, but he's responded straight away. So it is a risky game for Lifeabout, as Ghost generally is pretty consistent and doesn't make too many mistakes. However, I think the medium tyres of Riandy really are starting to go off now. Wisburn seems to be doing okay, but yeah, behind him in the first of the Williams drivers, Riandy does seem to be struggling just a little bit. I do apologise. Oh, the heat today does take it out of me. As this contact, there is major contact there, it seemed. Pretty sure that wasn't lag. I'm pretty sure that was genuine contact there between Red Flame Joe, Ghost and Lifeabout. They're all joined together by like the human centipede, all shitting in each other's mouths there. Fantastic watch. The racing, that is not the movie. The movie's pretty sick. But if you're into that sort of thing, then hey, who am I to judge? Lifeabout just looked like he missed the apex there of 3, dropping back a little bit on this DRS straight now. And just as I was saying, Wisburn's tyres look to be coping well. Riandy has clawed back 3/10 just through sector 1 alone there. As we come into sector 2, and Ghost really is getting close to the back of Red Flame Joe. We'll have to watch out for the dirty air between this right-hand hander here. But if he can use his battery and the ERS DRS together, could have been close enough to move there, but not quite on, I'm afraid. So Red Flame Joe does still occupy 3rd position, but going down into turn 1, I've got a feeling about this lap here coming up as Riandy dives into the pits. Lifeabout gets a brilliant exit on the final corner there. Looked like he had much more minimum speed and cut in track a little bit just to shorten the distance. And could be close enough for a move, but Ghost just has a little jinx to the right there just to put Lifeabout off and say no, no you do not. And once again gets the better of the exit out of 3, running down into 4. Red Flame Joe won't have DRS next lap, so he will be vulnerable to Ghost. I do apologise, it really is such a warm day here where I am. Long day of graft as well. taking its toll. The racing isn't boring, so to speak, and so as Red Flame Joe goes off the track, and that has let through both Ghost and Lifebout. Ghost occupying P2, Lifebout occupying P3 now. As much as Ghost obviously did want to get past Red Flame Joe, what that does now do is leave him without DRS and potentially vulnerable to Lifebout going down to turn 1. Although that being said, whereas Lifebout got better exit on the last corner, last lap, Ghost absolutely nailed it there, and I'm sure we'll keep this momentum going down into turn 1. Lifebout, of course, will get another help in for DRS very soon, but Ghost seems to be nailing the exit of 3 thus far, not giving Lifebout any chance of a look in down into 4, and that's exactly how it's played out. Wisburn seems to be doing Max Verstappen at Monaco and just somehow keeping his tyres well and truly alive, even though maybe they shouldn't be. Any mere man or any other driver wouldn't have been able to, but Wisburn, just like Max, showing he's superior when it comes to tyre degradation. Look at that 2.5 second gap. You would have thought the crossover period would have happened by now, or maybe it has, and just Wisburn is using his abilities to keep the times consistent. However, once again, Ghost is without DRS to fight off Lifebout, who has his DRS wide open. Pretty much full battery, though he's not using it. I do get the feeling if Lifebout really wants to overtake Ghost here, he could. He has plenty of battery in reserve. But I think his chance is going to be down into 2, and I think Ghost has the exit of 3 pretty much nailed on. Getting awfully close through that double right-hander, however. Does want to watch out for the dirty air. Make sure it does not catch him out. Red Flame Joe, despite his mistake, does seem to be doing okay. He's holding on to the back of the Lifeboat, getting that DRS, and is now surely maybe thinking, where can I get past these two? Can I use these two fighting to my own advantage, as Lifebout finally starts to use some of his battery? And I think this is going to be a slam dunk for Lifebout as he now pulls alongside, roars in front, and gets ahead of his title rival Ghost. Ghost just has to stay calm now. Focus once again on getting a good exit out free, but goes a little bit wide. Could have done with cutting in a little bit more, shortening the track. As Lifebout steams down into turn 4 now, who himself goes a little bit wide. Ghost, despite being in dirty air, seemed to get the better line. Now, what this has done with the two effectively aiding each other with the DRS has allowed the gap to Wisburn to come down to 1.6, although I'm pretty sure it'd be 1.4, 1.3 by the time we come around to lap 16. Lifebout, however, has just seemed to have checked out. He's closed down the gap to 1.3 before we even get to the DRS straight. I say 1.3, it's now 1.2. You would have thought Wisburn is going to come in. Yes, he is. So Lifebout will take over the lead of this race and sets the fastest lap in doing so. 1:19. Did Ghost get DRS? Did just about. That was crucial. You gotta feel that was essential for Ghost there to get that DRS. to give a quick shout out as well to Rick, who's made up 11 positions in this race. We're not even halfway through yet. 11 positions is a fantastic amount of positions advanced. So well done to him there in the AlphaTauri. Ghost just about keeping within that DRS range. I think he got DRS there. We'll see now. Yes, he did just about get DRS there. Will need to get it as well, going down onto the home straight, but does have a little wobble there. Has to give the wheel, a good wheel just to keep the car straight, but loses about 3-4 tenths, which has put him out of DRS range. And you have to feel, it's not game, set and match, but you have to feel that is first set to lifebelt. Ghost maybe having to thinking about, maybe does have to think about what's behind him now, as he picks up a time penalty, which could be absolutely crucial come the end of the race. The momentum well and truly has swung in Lifebelt's favour now, if he didn't already. 1.5 second lead plus the 3 seconds effectively puts Lifebelt almost 5 seconds ahead of his championship rival, Jam Pancakes. Red Flame Joe on the back of Ghost now may look for a move down into turn 1. DRS wide open there, as you can see. Quickly cut away to the battle for 5th, between Riandy in 6th and Wisburn in 5th there. These two have of course both boxed. They started on the medium compound tyres and do have a set of hard shoes now to what you would imagine would be the end of the race, barring in form of a safety car, full safety car that is, as Rick momentarily gaining 11 positions there, has switched on to the medium compound tyres now. It's a relatively early stop for Rick, maybe looking for a little bit of an undercut to gain not a position, as he won't be close enough, but certainly time to the top 3. Riandy, however, 4 tenths behind Wisburn with DRS. The straight there, however, just too short really to really give the driver behind any sort of momentum in terms of potential overtake. By the time you start to see the gap come down, it's pretty much time to brake. What it will do, however, is keep Wisburn honest, make sure there's no mistake from him, as we head back to the battle for P2 Ghost, now 2.9 seconds behind Lifeboat. just under 6 tenths ahead of Red Flame Joe, and Williams just behind him, who, despite, I believe, using some battery there with DRS, is nowhere near close enough for a move going down into 1. And as I just said about turn 4, there won't be any chance barring a mistake, and a mistake has not been made. Go back to the battle between the Williams and the Alpine now, as those are the only real battles on tracks. We have Sox leading LB Racing down in P9 and P10 respectively. But yeah, other than that, it's not too much going on at this point in the race. We're getting close to the pit stops for most cars, you would have thought now. I know Rick obviously did stop a few laps ago, and he was the first hard runner to do so. As the McLaren pulls out to the right, does he think about giving a little send? Doesn't get the cleanest entry into turn 1, but look at that. The switchback, I think, is going to come off here with the DRS wide open. If you can use a little bit of battery, you may be able to outbrake the Alfa Romeo on the outside, but no, once again goes for the old switcheroo, as we just saw out of 1 into 2 and 3. And he has the inside now for the double right-hander, but just can't quite carry the momentum and speed through there. So it's Sox who holds on to P9. As Wisburn has now come right behind Lifeabout, and that is because Lifeabout did pit Ariandi, of course, right behind him. Ghost has also pit onto the medium compound tyres, and Red Flame Joe. So the top 3 at the time did all bit Biggs box in harmony, as it's a penalty for Red Flame Joe. That would be great news for Ghost. And Lifeabout also gets a penalty. That would be even further great news for Ghost. Ghost will be hoping Wisburn will get the DRS here, though I don't think he will. What that does do, however, with the penalties to Red Flame Joe and Lifeabout, if there's a safety car now, that will once again open up the race. But Riandi does get past the Alpine there of Wisburn, and quite convincingly as well, you have to say. Do apologise if I'm sniffing a bit. I think it's the hay fever as Riandi smashes into the wall, and I'm sure that is rear wing damage for him. Let's through Wisburn, Red Flame Joe, Ghost, and Rick, who's gained 10 positions. What a race this is from Rick. That's a shame for Riandi. Looked extremely fierce and punchy all race long, but just overstepped the mark, it seems, and has another little wobble there. It's not going too well for him all of a sudden after quite a brilliant start. So there's a yellow flag sector 3. I think that was Sox who had a wobble and off, as I'm not quite sure what happened there. Riandi seems to have the car under control and then just absolutely floors it. I'm guessing those rear tyres are absolutely shot. Yes, it must be the temperature in the tyres skyrocketing. We're just going to stay on board with him until he can get his tyres cooled down a bit, as there would be a danger for a crash now, and any sort of crash around here will surely trigger the safety car as he goes perilously close to the wall, but decides to box. Probably a wise option, and takes the cone with him, and retires from the race. That won't trigger a safety car because it was done in the pits. Oh, and we just got on board with Ghost in time for that bit of contact there between Wisburn and Red Flame Joe. It looked like Well, initially looked like Wisburn just tapped him off a bit, but Red Flame Joe didn't want to give any more room to Wisburn, and of course that corner there, you have to step out a little bit to cut right back in order to set yourself up for the double right-hander shortly after. So merely a racing incident? I'm not sure. It may be reported by Red Flame Joe, but that's how I saw it there, just from the glimpse we got from the onboard of Ghost, who is right on the gearbox of Wisburn. Wisburn, of course, on the hard compound tyre, so you would expect Ghost to get past him pretty easily here. Maybe not even have to use any battery as he pulls alongside, gives him a little wave, and that is Ghost ahead before they even start braking for turn 1. Ghost, of course, will have DRS again to put a bit of distance between himself and Wisburn. Talking of a bit of distance, there's not much distance between Rick in 5th. Red Flame Joe, of course, who had a wobble at that point. Not a wobble, sorry, it was Rick who just had a wobble. Had a collision with Wisburn on a previous lap at that point there. Putting Rick, of course, into contention for P4 in the first place. And that is actually the only car with DRS on track right now. We've had 5 cars retire, well, 4 retirees and 1 disqualification from this race now. As we approach lap 25, just ticked over to lap 25. Ghost fastest man on track at the minute, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to make up enough time in the closing stages here, as Rick absolutely piles through there on the Williams of Red Flame Joe. That's 11, double one, 11 positions gained for Rick so far in this race. As long as he can keep it together, keep it nice and stable, etc. This is your driver of the day right here, Rick. 11 positions gained. Though he is flashing. I'm not on about dropping a testicle out for the world to see. It's his little red light which is flashing, meaning he is down on the power. Red Flame Joe doesn't have too much battery in reserve himself, but certainly has a little bit more than his counterpart in the AlphaTauri, who is making gains now on Wisburn. And by the time we go into turn 1, do not be surprised if that little number there on the right, where it says 11 currently, turns to 12 as we exit out of 1, and Rick, you can see the car starting to go there, just saves it just in the nick of time. I've just noticed as well, the only driver to not have a penalty is Forrest Jump. Every other driver, I believe, is 3 seconds for our LB, who is 6. No, LB is 14. Every other driver is 3. Literally every other driver is 3, bar Narf on 6. We'll look at the ages of the tyres there. It's pretty evenly spread throughout the compounds, as Rick goes extremely wide there for the entry of 5, setting up nicely for 6 and 7. As you can see, gained more or less a 10th there on the short run up down into 8. As we go through 9, and Rick's lost it. He's into the wall. He is just into the wall. I think he saved any major collision, but certainly tapped the wall with the front left of his car, and maybe even the rear wing as well. I do hope that has overheated his tyres. He was so close to making it 12 positions gained, but just had a little wobble there. I'm not sure the dirty air had to do with it, as he was pretty close to Wisburn. But not anymore. He's 7 seconds adrift now in the top 4. So only a safety car or some catastrophic mistakes by the front 4 drivers will bring him into play again. as we have a yellow flag set to 1 into 2. I do believe that was for the McLaren of LB Racing. We just saw some blue flags being shown, which means our leaders are catching up towards the back of the pack now.